The night my daughter left, she did not cry. She did not hug her children. She did not even look back. She dropped a small plastic bag on my table, pushed 4 sleepy children into my living room, and walked out into the rain like she was throwing away trash. When I opened the bag, my hands started shaking, because inside was a single wrinkled $20 bill, a 10, a 5, and 10 ones. $45. That was all she left for food, for soap, for school, for everything. Then I saw the note. It said, "Mom, take care of them. I can't. Don't call me." I looked at the children, and I looked at the money, and I felt fear rise in my chest like a hard stone. 4 children. $45. And my rent was due in 3 days. I whispered into the empty room, "Tola, what have you done?" Then the smallest child, Dara, tugged my skirt and said, "Grandma, are we going to eat tomorrow?" And I did not know the answer. If my own daughter could leave her 4 children with me and walk away, what else was she hiding, and how far would she go to keep it secret? My name is Grandma Morayo, but the children call me Grandma Momo, because they could not pronounce my full name when they were small. I am 61 years old. I live in a 2-room apartment behind a mechanic shop. The place is not pretty, but it is clean. I keep my floor swept. I keep my pots shiny. I keep my door locked. I used to live in a bigger place when my husband was alive. His name was Kunli. He was a gentle man. He sold spare parts and saved small money every week. When he died, the world became narrower. I moved to this smaller apartment and learned how to stretch little things. I learned how to buy half measures at the market. I learned how to cook rice with beans so it lasts. I learned how to smile even when my stomach felt empty. My daughter, Tola, was my only child. When she was young, she was bright and strong. She used to sit beside me and help me peel vegetables. She used to laugh easily. After she got married, she changed little by little. At first it was normal change. She had her own home. She had her own family. Then it became a different kind of change. She started calling less. She started visiting only when she needed something. When she had her first baby, Sei, she looked tired but happy. When she had her second, Kemi, she looked more tired. When she had her third, Timmy, she looked like she was always running from something. When she had the fourth, Dara, she looked like she had no more strength left to hold her life together. But still, I never expected this. I never expected her to abandon them on my floor with $45. That first night, I did not sleep. I watched the children like a guard. Sei was 9. He was old enough to understand fear, but he tried to be brave. Kemi was 7. She hugged her doll tightly and asked questions with her eyes. Timmy was 5. He was too young to know the full truth, but he could feel the wrongness. Dara was 2. She just wanted her mother. They slept in a line on my thin mattress, and I sat on a chair, listening to the rain and the distant sound of motorcycles. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Tola's back as she walked away. In the morning, I called her. Straight to voicemail. I sent a message. No reply. I called again. Nothing. I did not have time for long crying. Children need food. Children need calm. So I washed my face, tied my wrapper tight, and counted the $45 on my table again, like the number might change. I went to the market and bought small things. A cup of rice. A cup of beans. 2 sachets of water. A small tin of tomato paste. A few pieces of seasoning. I did not buy meat. I did not buy fruit. I bought only what could fill stomachs. That afternoon, the landlord's assistant, a thin man named Mr. Bako, knocked on my door. He did not greet properly. He looked past me and saw the children. "Madam Morayo," he said, "your rent is due." Landlord said no delay this time. I swallowed. "I know. I will pay." He looked at the children again. "Those are your grandchildren?" "Yes." He clicked his tongue. 4 of them. Madam, you know children bring noise. Landlord does not like trouble. We will not cause trouble, I said quickly. He stepped closer, lowering his voice. Madam, I will be honest. If you do not pay, landlord said he will lock the door. He will not pity you. After he left, my body felt weak. I sat on the floor and stared at the wall. $45 was already almost gone. My small pension would come, but not until the end of the month. And even that money was small. That night, Sei came to sit beside me. His voice was quiet. "Grandma," he said, "Mom said we are going on a short visit. Is it true?" I looked into his eyes and saw how hard he was trying not to cry. I wanted to lie and say yes, everything is fine, your mother will come back tomorrow. But children can feel lies. Lies make fear bigger. So I held his hands and spoke slowly. "Sei, your mother is having trouble. I do not know where she is right now. But you are safe with me. I will not let anyone hurt you." He nodded, but his mouth trembled. "Did we do something bad?" "No," I said. "You did nothing bad." Kemi came closer and asked, "Is mommy angry with us?" I pulled her into my lap. "No, my child. This is not your fault." Timmy heard us and started crying. Dara began to cry too because she heard crying. I hugged all of them the best I could, like my arms were a roof. But inside, I was shaking. Later, when the children finally slept, I checked the plastic bag again. I thought maybe there was more. Maybe she hid something. I shook it. Only the note and the money wrapper. Then I noticed something. The note had a tear on the edge, like it had been ripped from a bigger paper. I held it up to the light. There were faint marks, like writing from another page pressed into it. My heart started beating fast. I took a pencil and gently rubbed the back of the note the way people do in old movies. Slowly, faint words appeared. Not full words, but enough to make my skin go cold. I saw, "He said he will take the kids." I saw, "Don't tell Mom." I saw, "Money." I saw, "If I fail." I stared at those faint marks until my eyes hurt. Who was he? Why would someone take the kids? And what did she mean, "if I fail"? I stood up and locked my door again, even though it was already locked. I checked my window. I listened to the night. For the first time, I did not feel only abandonment. I felt danger. If someone was after my daughter, and if my daughter was desperate enough to dump her children on me, then this was not just a bad choice. This was a crisis with teeth. I whispered into the dark, "Tola, what are you mixed up in?" Then my phone buzzed. A message came from an unknown number. It said, "Stop calling Tola. Mind your business, old woman." My throat went dry. I stared at the message as if it might bite me. Who was sending this? How did they know I was calling her? And why did they sound like a threat? I looked at the sleeping children and felt a sharp, protective heat rise inside me. I was a grandmother. I was not rich. I was not powerful. But those 4 children were now under my roof. And somebody out there was already telling me to stay quiet. I deleted nothing. I saved the message. I held my phone tight. Because I knew something important then. If I stayed silent, we could all be swallowed. And if I spoke up, someone might come for us. So I asked myself the question that scared me the most. If my daughter was running from a man bold enough to threaten an old woman, would he come to my door next? The next morning, I acted normal for the children, but inside, I was making a plan. Fear can make you freeze, but it can also make you sharp. I cooked thin porridge and added a little sugar so it tasted like comfort. I told the children to wash their faces. I braided Kemi's hair. I made Sei help Timmy tie his sandals. I made them laugh once, just once, when Dara tried to wear my headscarf like a hat. But after they ate, I sat them down and spoke clearly. "Listen to me," I said. "You stay close to me today. You do not open the door for anyone. If someone knocks, you call me first. Do you understand?" Sei nodded quickly. Kemi looked worried but nodded. Timmy said, "Okay, Grandma." Dara clapped because she did not understand, but she wanted to join. Then I went to my neighbor, Auntie Bissy. She sold roasted corn outside and knew everybody's business. Some people call that gossip. I call it information. Auntie Bissy looked at my face and immediately lowered her voice. "Morayo, what is it? You look like you did not sleep." I told her what happened. I showed her the message. I did not hide the truth. When you hide truth, it grows into something worse. Auntie Bissy's eyes widened. "Ha, this is serious. Do you know anything about Tola lately?" I asked. "Any new man? Any trouble?" Auntie Bissy hesitated, then leaned in. "I saw her 2 weeks ago. She came with one man. Not her husband. This one was tall, with shiny shoes. He did not smile. She looked scared. My stomach tightened. Did you hear his name? No, she said. But she called him, sir, like she was afraid. Where did you see them? I asked. At that big pharmacy near the bus stop, she said. She was begging him, I think. I could not hear well. I thanked her and went back home, my mind running. Tola was married, yes, but her marriage had not been stable. Her husband, Kunmi, was not kind. He shouted too much. He drank sometimes. Tola tried to hide it from me. She always said, we are fine. But I am a mother. I can hear pain even when it is hidden inside polite words. Still, this sounded different. Sir. Shiny shoes. A threat message. Someone said he would take the kids. I decided I needed direct answers, not guessing. That afternoon, I took the children to school for a meeting. It was not really a meeting. It was an excuse to ask questions. The school secretary knew me because I sometimes picked up the kids when Tola was late. When she saw all four with me, her face changed. Grandma Morayo, where is their mother? I am not sure, I said carefully. Has she been coming to school recently? The secretary sighed. 2 weeks now, she has not come. The children's lunch fees are unpaid. And there was one day a man came here asking for their records. My heart jumped. A man. Yes, she said. He said he was their uncle. But he did not know the children's birthdays. That was strange. We refused. I forced my voice to stay calm. Can you describe him? The secretary thought. Tall. Serious face. Shiny shoes. He talked like he was used to people obeying him. I felt cold again. Same kind of man. I thanked her and left quickly, holding Dara's hand tightly. On the way home, Sei spoke softly. Grandma, Mom told me not to tell you something. My steps slowed. What did she tell you? He looked down. She said, if anyone asks questions, say you don't know. She said, Grandma should not know. My chest hurt. Know what, Sei? He swallowed. There was a bag. A brown bag. She hid it under the bed. She said it is important. I stopped walking. Which bed? In her house. He nodded. I looked at the children. I could not drag them across town. Into unknown trouble. But I also could not ignore a hidden bag that might explain everything. That night, after I put them to sleep, I called my cousin, Uncle Tunda. He was older than me, but still strong. He drove a taxi and knew how to handle tense situations without shouting. I told him everything. The money, the note, the message, the man at the school, the hidden bag. Uncle Tunda did not waste words. We go tomorrow morning, he said. But we go smart. We do not fight anybody. We just check. In the morning, I left the children with Auntie Bissy and went with Uncle Tunda to Tola's rented room across town. The door was locked, but Uncle Tunda talked to the caretaker and showed him our family photo from my phone. The caretaker recognized Tola and allowed us in, because he was also worried about rent. Inside, the room smelled like stale air. The curtains were drawn. The bed was messy, like someone left in a hurry. I felt like I was walking through my daughter's fear. We searched gently. Under the bed, we found the brown bag. My hands shook as I opened it. Inside were papers. Many papers. Some were bank forms. Some were loan documents. Some were photocopies of identity cards, not only Tola's, but mine. Mine. I froze. Uncle Tunda picked one up and read. His face hardened. Morayo, he said, they used your name. I grabbed the papers and looked. There it was. My full name. My address. My signature. But it was not my signature. Someone had copied it. Under the papers was a small notebook. In the notebook, Tola had written dates, names, and amounts. Each page looked like panic. At the end, she wrote one sentence in large shaky letters. Mr. Demeji said if I don't pay, he will collect the children as collateral. I felt dizzy. Collect the children. Uncle Tunda's voice was tight. This is not normal debt. This is dangerous people. Then we heard footsteps outside. Uncle Tunda motioned for silence. The caretaker's voice rose in the hallway, nervous. Sir, I told you she is not here. A man's voice answered, calm and cold. Open the door. My blood turned to ice. Uncle Tunda whispered, back room. Now, there was no back room. Only a small bathroom. We moved fast. Uncle Tunda pulled me into the bathroom and closed the door quietly. My heart hammered so loud I thought it would expose us. The front door rattled. A key turned. The door opened. Heavy footsteps entered the room. A man spoke into a phone. Yes, I'm inside. The place is empty, but the old woman has been calling. I warned her. My stomach dropped. He was talking about me. Uncle Tunda held my wrist, warning me not to make a sound. The man walked around, opening drawers. Papers rustled. Then he said, almost bored, she left her bag. Good. I held my breath. The brown bag was still in my hands. If he found us, he would find the bag with the proof. Then the bathroom door handle moved. Just a small shake, like someone testing it. I clamped my mouth with my hand to stop any sound. The handle moved again, harder. The man's voice came, soft and threatening. Who is inside? For one long second, I thought we were finished. My mind flashed to the children at home, sleeping without knowing that danger had walked into their mother's room and was now reaching for the bathroom door where their grandmother was hiding. I wanted to scream. I wanted to run. But Uncle Tunda lifted one finger to his lips and mouthed one word, wait. Then he did something brave and smart. He raised his voice from inside the bathroom, making it sound casual, like we had a right to be there. Caretaker, Uncle Tunda called out, this water is not running. Are you people serious? The man outside paused. Silence. Then the caretaker's nervous voice came from the hallway. Sir, I told you, nobody is inside. Uncle Tunda pushed the bathroom door open a little, just enough to show his face, not mine. I am a plumber, he said, acting fast. Your pipe is blocked. I am checking it. The man stared at him. I could see it through the small opening. The man's shoes were shiny, just like Auntie Bissy said. His trousers were neat. His eyes were sharp and impatient. A plumber, the man repeated, like he did not believe it. Uncle Tunda did not blink. Yes. Ask the caretaker. He called me yesterday. The caretaker, confused but catching the chance, quickly nodded. Yes, sir. Yes. The toilet has problem. The man's eyes moved past Uncle Tunda, searching for another body. I held my breath and pressed into the corner like a shadow. Finally, the man clicked his tongue. Fix it fast, he said. And tell your tenant if she wants peace, she should pay. Then he turned and walked out. When the door closed, my knees almost gave out. I sat on the edge of the bathtub, shaking. Uncle Tunda locked the door and whispered, we leave now. We did not waste time. We took photos of the papers with Uncle Tunda's phone and put the originals back the way we found them, except for the notebook. Uncle Tunda said we should take the notebook because it had the clearest confession. We slipped out, thanked the caretaker, and left before the man could return. In the taxi on the way back, I stared at the notebook in my lap. My daughter had been pulled into something dark. And my name had been used. When we got home, the children ran to me. Dara cried and held my legs. Kemi asked, Grandma, where did you go? Sei watched my face and knew something big had happened. I knelt and hugged them. I went to check something, I said softly. You were safe. But inside, I was thinking hard. If this Mr. Demeji was real, and if he was bold enough to enter my daughter's room and threaten an old woman, then he would not stop easily. People like that do not like witnesses. They do not like questions. That night, I did not let the children sleep near the window. I moved the mattress farther inside. I kept the light on. And I made a decision. I would not handle this alone like prideful people do. I would not keep quiet like scared people do. I would report it. The next morning, Uncle Tunda took me to a small legal aid office near the local council building. It was not fancy, but the people there listened. A young woman named Lawyer Amina spoke to me kindly but clearly. She asked direct questions. I answered direct. I told her about the $45. The abandonment. The threat message. The school visit. The notebook. The fake signature. She wrote everything down and then said, Madam Morayo, this looks like identity fraud and illegal debt pressure. The part about taking children as collateral is also a serious crime. We need to involve child protection and the police. The word, police, made my stomach twist. In my life, police meant stress, long waiting, and sometimes no help. But Lawyer Amina looked firm. Do you want your grandchildren safe? She asked. Yes, I said. Then we do it properly, she said. That same day, she helped me file a report. She also helped me register a temporary care document, so if anyone came claiming the children, I could prove they were with me lawfully. When I got home, I saw 3 missed calls from an unknown number. Then another message came. You think you are smart. Keep quiet or you will regret it. My hands shook, but I did not delete it. I saved it, just like the first one. Sei saw my face and asked, Grandma, are we in trouble? I took a breath and chose words he could understand. Someone is trying to scare us, Sei. But we are doing the right thing. We are getting help. That week was hard. Money became smaller and smaller. The children ate simple food. Sometimes they asked for biscuits and I said no. Sometimes Dara cried for her mother, and I sang her to sleep while my own tears fell silently. But something else happened too. People started helping. Auntie Bissy brought a small bowl of stew one evening. For the children, she said. The school secretary called and said, we will allow them to eat in school this week. Do not worry. My church women's group heard about it and brought rice and oil. Not because I begged, but because someone noticed and spoke up. That is why silence can be dangerous. When you speak, help can find you. Still, the fear did not leave. One afternoon, when the children returned from school, Sei looked pale. Grandma, he whispered, a man came to school today. My heart jumped. What man? He stood near the gate, Sei said. He watched us. He asked me, is your grandma your real grandma? I ran inside. Kemi started crying. He looked like a bad man. Timmy held my hand tight. Grandma, I don't like him. I hugged them quickly. You did well, I said to Sei. You did the right thing. That night, lawyer Amina called me. Madam Morayo, she said, we traced the name Mr. Demeji. He is connected to an illegal loan ring. They target people who are desperate. They also use threats to collect money. Your daughter may have borrowed from them. My chest tightened. Where is my daughter? We are working on it, she said. But listen carefully. If they used your identity, they may try to force you to pay. Do not meet anyone alone. Do not hand over the children. And do not sign anything. I promised. After the call, I sat in the dark with my thoughts. I remembered small signs I had ignored. Tola always rushing. Tola always hiding her phone. Tola always saying, Mom, don't ask too many questions. I thought that was disrespect. Now I saw it was fear. Then, near midnight, there was a knock on my door. Not the normal knock of a neighbor. This knock was slow and heavy, like someone who knew they had power. My body went cold. I stood up quietly and moved to the window corner. I did not open the door. The knock came again. Then a man's voice said, calm and sure, Madam Morayo. We need to talk. I recognized the voice from the room. The voice that said, I warned her. My mouth went dry. I looked at the children sleeping and knew I could not pretend I was not home. If he wanted to break the door, he would. I took my phone and pressed record. Then I spoke through the door, trying to keep my voice steady. What do you want? The man laughed softly. Open the door and we talk like family. Family. That word made my stomach turn. I did not open the door. Say what you want from there. His voice became colder. Your daughter owes money. Since you like to interfere, you can pay it. If not, we will collect what is valuable. What is valuable? I asked, even though I already feared the answer. He paused, like he enjoyed it. Then he said, the children. When he said, the children, something inside me hardened. Fear was still there, but it was no longer the boss of me. I held my phone tighter and spoke clearly, so the recording would capture every word. You will not take any child, I said. You are threatening me. I am recording you. There was a silence. Then he laughed again, but the laugh sounded forced now. Old woman, he said, you think recording will save you. I did not answer. I moved quietly to the back of the room and checked the lock on the window. Then I whispered a quick prayer, not loud, not dramatic. Just a simple prayer for protection. Then I called Uncle Tunda, whispering into the phone. He is at my door. Uncle Tunda's voice became sharp. Do not open. I am coming. Call lawyer Amina too. I did. While I waited, the man at my door kept talking, trying different voices. First he was sweet, then he was angry, then sweet again. "Madam Morayo," he said, "you are suffering for nothing. Bring the children, and we will keep them safe until your daughter pays." I almost laughed at the lie. Safe with a man who threatens to take children like objects. "No," I said. His voice dropped lower. "Then pay. Pay what she owes. You are her mother." "I did not borrow," I said. "And you forged my signature. That is a crime." Now he sounded irritated. "You talk too much." Then he did something that made my blood run cold. He said Dara's name. "Little Dara," he said softly. "She is very cute." My stomach flipped. How did he know Dara's name? That meant he had been watching. That meant he was not guessing. I backed away from the door, my mind racing. If he knew their names, he could know their routines. School times, church times, market times. The man knocked again, harder. "Open." Sei woke up and sat up, scared. Kemi woke too. Dara started crying. I went to them and spoke softly. "Stay quiet. Come behind me." I pulled them into the inner corner of the room and made them sit low. Then I heard footsteps running outside and Uncle Tunda's voice shouting, "Hey! Who is there?" The man at my door moved fast. I heard his shoes on the concrete. Then silence. I waited until Uncle Tunda knocked and said, "It is me." I opened just a small crack and let him in quickly. Uncle Tunda looked around. "Where did he go?" "He ran," I said, still shaking. "But he knows their names." Uncle Tunda's face tightened. "That is very bad." Lawyer Amina arrived later with a police officer from the local station, not many officers, just one, but it was something. I played the recording. The officer listened, his face serious. He asked me to forward the threat messages. I did. He said, "Madam, do not move around alone. We will increase patrol." I was not fully sure patrol would happen, but at least now there was a report and evidence. Evidence matters. That night, the children slept at Uncle Tunda's house. I stayed too. I did not want them in my apartment where the man had already come. The next day, Lawyer Amina called again, and her voice sounded different. More urgent. "Madam Morayo," she said, "we found your daughter." My heart jumped. "Where is she?" "She is at a clinic," she said. "She was brought in last night. She is weak and dehydrated. She is alive, but she is scared." My body almost collapsed with relief. "Alive. At least alive. Can I see her?" I asked. "Yes," Lawyer Amina said. "But we must go carefully. There are things you need to know." At the clinic, Tola looked like a smaller version of herself. Her cheeks were sunken. Her eyes were red. When she saw me, she started crying like a child. "Mom," she whispered, "I'm sorry." I sat beside her and held her hand. For a moment, anger tried to rise. The anger of being abandoned. The anger of $45. The anger of the children's tears. But I pushed anger aside, because truth was more important now. "Tell me everything," I said softly. "No more hiding. Tell me plainly." She swallowed and nodded. Then she explained, in simple, clear words, what had happened. She said after Dara was born, her husband Kunmi became worse. He lost his job. He started drinking more. He started demanding money. When she said she did not have, he threatened to throw her out. She was scared and ashamed. She did not want people to know her marriage was breaking. Then she met a woman who said she could help with small loans. The woman said, "Just borrow a little. Pay back quickly. It will help you breathe." Tola borrowed once, paid back. Borrowed again, paid back. Then Kunmi took the money again. She borrowed more. Soon the loan was not small anymore. The interest grew fast. The woman introduced her to Mr. Demeji, the man with shiny shoes. He said, "If you do not pay, you will suffer." Tola tried to leave, but the debt followed. They called her. They followed her. They threatened her. Then, she said the worst part. "They asked me to bring a guarantor," she whispered. I said I don't have. They said, "Your mother." They took your details from my phone. They forged papers. When I saw it, I panicked. My chest hurt, but I listened. "I was scared you would hate me," she said. "I was scared you would report them." Mr. Demeji said if you talk, he will punish me and punish the children. So you abandoned them, I said, my voice tight. Tola's tears fell. I thought it would keep them safe, she whispered. I thought if they are with you, they will not touch them. But they came for them, I said. He stood at my door and said he will take them. Tola covered her face, shaking. I didn't know he would go that far. Lawyer Amina stepped in gently. Tola, we need names and details. The police can act better when we have full information. Tola nodded, still crying. She gave addresses. She gave phone numbers. She gave the name of the woman who first introduced her. She gave everything. Then she said something that made me sit up straighter. Mom, she whispered, there is something else. Kunmi is working with them. I froze. Your husband. She nodded slowly. He told them our routine. He told them the children's names. He said if they take the children, he can use it to force you to sell your land. My mouth went dry. What land? Tola looked down. The land Dad left. The one you told me never to talk about. My heart pounded. That land was a small piece outside town, not much, but it was mine. I kept it quiet because land brings trouble. People hear land and they start thinking of stealing. And now I understood. This was not only about debt. It was also about greed. Kunmi and those lone people wanted my land. They wanted to squeeze me until I broke. Tola looked at me with scared eyes. Mom, he said if you don't sell, he will make sure you never see the children again. I stood up slowly, my whole body trembling, but my mind clear. This was the moment I stopped being only a suffering grandmother. This was the moment I became a grandmother who would fight the right way. Not with fists, not with violence, with truth, law, and courage. I leaned close to Tola and said, listen to me. You will not protect them by hiding. You will protect them by telling the full truth. Do you understand? She nodded. And in my heart, I made a promise. If Kunmi and Mr. Demeji thought they could use my grandchildren like a rope to pull me into slavery, they were about to learn something. An old woman can be quiet. But she can also be dangerous when she decides to speak. That evening, Lawyer Amina called the police officer again and arranged a proper statement with Tola. We planned to set a trap, not a violent trap, but a legal one. A controlled meeting, recorded, witnessed. But before we could do it, my phone rang. It was a number I knew. Kunmi, Tola's husband, the children's father. I answered, and his voice came through, smooth like oil. Mother, he said, good evening. I heard the children are with you. My fingers tightened around the phone. Yes, I said. He chuckled. That is good. Keep them ready. I am coming tomorrow to pick them. Kunmi coming tomorrow was not a small thing. It was not a normal father visit. It was a move, a threat with a smile. But this time, I was not alone, and I was not guessing. We had evidence. We had messages. We had the recording at my door. We had the notebook. We had Tola's full statement. We had Lawyer Amina's guidance. And now, we had Kunmi calling openly. Lawyer Amina told me exactly what to do. Do not refuse him on the phone, she said. Keep him talking. Let him reveal his intention. Make sure you record. So when Kunmi called again that night, I recorded. He said, Mother, you are old. You cannot raise 4 children. Give them to me. I am their father. I kept my voice calm. Where will you take them? He paused. To my place. Will they be safe? I asked. He laughed. Safe. Yes. But you know, things cost money. Feeding 4 mouths is not easy. If you want to help, you can sell that land. Just a small land. Sell it and we settle everything. There it was. Plain. Clear. No guessing. I said, Kunmi, why are you asking for land? His voice hardened a little. Mother, do not ask questions. This is how we solve problems. I said, what problem? The problem of debt, he snapped. Then he softened again, pretending. Mother, just cooperate. Tomorrow I come. After the call, my hands were cold, but my mind was steady. In the morning, we arranged everything. The police officer agreed to be present. Lawyer Amina came with another colleague. Uncle Tunda stayed nearby. We chose a public place near the local council building, not my home. I would bring the children only if the officer said it was safe. And the officer said, do not bring them. Let the children stay in a protected place. So the children stayed at the church office with the pastor's wife, a calm woman who knew how to keep children settled. When Kunmi arrived at the meeting point, he looked surprised not to see the children. "Where are my children?" he demanded. I kept my voice steady. "They are safe." He stepped closer, his jaw tight. "You were playing games." Then, like a shadow, Mr. Demeji appeared from behind a car. Tall, shiny shoes, same cold eyes. Kunmi's face changed for half a second, like he forgot to hide it. That was the moment we needed. Proof of connection. The police officer stepped forward. "Good morning, Mr. Kunmi, Mr. Demeji, we need to ask you some questions." Mr. Demeji's eyes narrowed. "Who are you?" The officer showed his ID. "We have a report of threats, fraud, and attempted child abduction." Mr. Demeji turned to leave, but Uncle Tunda and another officer, who had been waiting nearby, moved in. Kunmi started shouting, "This is family matter." Lawyer Amina raised her voice, clear and firm. "It stopped being family matter when you threatened children and demanded land." Kunmi's mouth opened, then closed. The officer asked Mr. Demeji about the loan documents and my forged signature. Mr. Demeji tried to deny, but we had the notebook photos and the threat messages. We had the recording of him at my door. We had Tola's statement naming him. We had Kunmi's recorded call asking for my land to settle everything. They took both men in for questioning. I will not lie, the process was not magical. It did not end in 1 hour. It took days. It took statements. It took waiting. It took fear. But something important happened. Because we had evidence, because we spoke plainly, the case moved. Tola also did her part. She told the truth. Not half-truth. Full truth. She admitted she borrowed. She admitted she hid it. She admitted she was scared. She admitted she abandoned the children and left $45 because she was desperate and panicking, not because she did not love them. That did not erase the pain. But it explained it. And in court, explanations matter. Child Protection Services worked with us. They assessed my home. They spoke to the children. They saw that I was providing safety, routine, and care. They also saw that Kunmi had been part of a dangerous plan. The result was clear. I received temporary legal guardianship of the children while Kunmi's case was investigated and while Tola went through a structured program to rebuild stability. The children stayed with me, but with support from the church and the school. Kunmi was ordered not to contact the children without supervision. He was also warned about intimidation. Mr. Demeji and his group faced charges connected to illegal loan practices, threats, and document forgery. I cannot promise how every case ends everywhere, but I can say this. Once a bully meets paper evidence and witnesses, his power starts shrinking. Now, about the miracle in the title. People think a miracle is always money dropping from the sky. Sometimes it is not. My miracle came in 3 parts. The first miracle was that the children were not taken. They were not harmed. They stayed safe. The second miracle was that people helped once I spoke. Food came. School support came. A safe place to leave the children came. A lawyer who listened came. When you stop hiding, help can find you. The third miracle came 2 weeks later, in the most unexpected way. A man from my late husband's old workplace came to see me. His name was Mr. Salami. He held a file and looked serious. "Madam Morayo," he said, "I have been looking for you. Your husband had a small cooperative savings. He did not withdraw everything before he died. There is also a death benefit that was not claimed." I stared at him. "What are you saying?" He opened the file and showed me the documents. My husband, Kunli, had joined a cooperative years ago. He had saved a little every month. After he died, the office moved locations, and the contact information changed. I never knew. Nobody told me. Mr. Salami said, "We found his name during an audit. The money is not huge, but it is something. It can help." When the money came, I sat down and cried. It was not millions, but it was enough to clear my rent. Enough to buy food without counting every grain. Enough to buy uniforms and books for the children. Enough to breathe. That was my miracle, not because it made us rich, but because it removed the sharp edge of hunger and fear. With time, Tola started healing. Healing is not a quick thing. She came to my house with a social worker at first. She cried. The children were angry sometimes. Especially Sei. He said, "Why did you leave us?" And Tola did not pretend. She said, "I was wrong. I was scared. I thought I could fix it alone. I was wrong." Kemi took longer. She watched her mother like someone watching a fire, unsure if it will burn again. Timmy slowly warmed up because children want love, even when love has hurt them. Dara was small and simply wanted her mother's arms. I did not force quick forgiveness. I did not act like everything was fine. I kept boundaries. I told Tola, "You will not take them without a plan. You will not hide things from me again. If you feel trapped, you speak. If someone threatens you, you speak." Silence almost destroyed us. Tola nodded and agreed. She also ended the marriage, not with shouting, but with firm legal separation, because Kunmi had shown he was willing to trade his own children for money and land. A father who uses children as tools is not a safe father. Some people asked me, "Is that your revenge?" Yes, in a clean way. My revenge was not blood. My revenge was not chaos. My revenge was taking back control. It was refusing to be bullied. It was protecting children with truth. It was making sure Kunmi could not use the children to steal my land. It was making sure Mr. Demeji could not threaten another family quietly. It was also something else. My revenge was teaching my daughter that running away does not solve darkness. It only moves darkness to the next person. I made her face the truth, and I made her rebuild her life in the open. Months later, life became calmer. The children laughed again without flinching. They started doing well in school. They slept without waking up scared at every sound. One evening, Sei sat beside me and said, "Grandma, you were brave." I smiled, tired but real. I was scared too. He nodded. "But you didn't hide. That was the lesson. Trust your instincts when something feels wrong. Do not stay silent when danger is near, even if it comes from family. Speak up early, because secrets grow teeth. And remember this. Sometimes the miracle is not that trouble never comes. Sometimes the miracle is that you find the courage to stand up, the right people to help you, and the strength to protect what matters before it is taken."